Okay, so let's pull this up. Let's pull this tweet up. So we have this tweet from Anish Giri. Thank you to I'm Lou for the Prime. Thank you so much, appreciate it. Thank you to Joseph Ka for the tier 1. Yeah, so I'm gonna just talk about this very briefly. So there was this post by Anish. He retweeted a post by Olympia G Urcon, which was the chess player's Mona Lisa. And Anish tweets, guys, please retweet and like this. This post so deserves to go viral. Okay, so let's scroll down. There is this post by Mr. Nigel Short, which says, I don't get it. Mona Lisa is ugly as something. Okay, there's this post by Nigel Short, and I'm gonna talk about this just a little bit. So, one thing that we've had a lot of discussions. There's been a lot of talk about sexism, about issues surrounding women in the game of chess recently. I read an article myself on stream the other day, and I was talking about it. So, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but this post by Nigel is completely unacceptable. One thing that's very odd to me in the chess world is somehow when people go from a sort of a private role to being in FIDE, which essentially is the governing body, it would be like, say, being in the government of the United States. It's the same thing. The fact that these people continue to write on private accounts, they continue to express personal opinions when they're in these positions of power is really unacceptable at any level. And as far as Nigel goes, he really has to learn to just shut up sometimes. I'm just going to put it out there. He continues to say these things over and over, and it really gets tired, and he needs to act like an adult. That's what I'm going to say. And again, Nigel is a vice president of FIDE. He's a vice president. This is not someone in a private position just as a grandmaster playing the game of chess. This is someone who is a vice president within the governing body. This is not the only thing regarding Nigel. We read the other thing regarding Iran and what Nigel was trying to get past regarding certain things there. So as far as Nigel goes, he just really needs to just, stop doing this because it reflects very badly on chess. If anything, that only reinforces the stereotype, and women see it and they're like, well, okay, you have a guy like this who's a vice president, nearly at the top of the food chain within FIDE, and he's writing all these stupid things. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say as far as Nigel goes. I think it's really unacceptable, and he either needs to do it, like separate his accounts, or like just keep it to himself. Because you cannot be in a position of power as a vice president doing this. Yeah, I know he writes this below. He says, not liking the most overrated painting of all time. It's a matter of taste. You're welcome to visit Louvre. Enjoy it. Have a nice day. Again, Nigel's a Brit. I mean, he's trying to be funny, but it's not funny, and he's not joking. He can say what he wants. I've known Nigel for a very, very long time, and I don't find it I don't find it funny. I think the majority of people don't find it funny, and yeah. So that's what I'm going to say. And it's not even cancel culture. He is a vice president in FIDE. He is not just a private citizen, private chess player playing the game of chess. He is a vice president. So I have a very serious issue with that, and I don't understand why he's allowed to say these things and nothing is done about it. I would also argue in the normal world, you guys, if you work at a company, let's just say you're vice president at, I don't know, let's say you're vice president at Pfizer, for example. I'm pretty sure that if you said something like this, there would be repercussions. If you said something, something very negative, there would be issues. So I think, no, I'm just using Pfizer. I was just going to say use a company or something, whatever it is. I think, yeah. So, No. I mean, seriously, you guys. I just saw this morning. I was watching Levy's stream, and I saw this pop up, so that's what made me find this. But yeah, I just want to talk about it. I think in general, it's one of those things where you can't do it. You can't say things like that. And again, it only reinforces the stereotype. In many ways, it only reinforces what was said in that article that I read the other day on Lead Chess. In regards to what was said about Nigel. So. Yeah, I mean, I have a big problem with it. I would also say if Nigel wrote something, as is said here in the chat, says, I don't get it, Mona Lisa, is overrated as art. Again, people might dislike it, but there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that. But when you go out there, you write something that's so crass like this, and you're a vice president of any organization, you should be held accountable, is what I would say. Do I think he was trying to be offensive? I actually think he totally was. I don't think Nigel was doing this just to be funny. I think he knew full well what he was writing. Thank you to Moonite for the 6 months, Go Professor for the 17th. Thank you to Cosmic Ben for the 6 months as well. Thank you so much. I would also say, yeah, word choice does matter when you're in the public eye, obviously. Yeah, so So yeah, I guess Hikaru likes Mona Lisa. I don't have any issue with it. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. But would I ever say something like that? You know, when it's a piece of art, when it features a female? No, I would never say that. And I think that's the thing. He's basically saying that Mona Lisa is ugly. And so I do have a problem with that. All right. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not being sensitive, you guys. I more so than a lot of people, I try to be very fair. I don't, you know, I myself have plenty of issues with current cancel culture, and I think sometimes things go over the top. But in a case like this, from a person who's in a position of power, it's 100% wrong, and it should not be done. Plain and simple. And if Nigel feels the need to come after me, so be it. But I'm not gonna be like, you know, oh, it doesn't really matter, because again, it only reinforces what we already know. All right. Yeah, he is objectifying women from a position of power. That is wrong. I actually completely agree with that. How is disliking the Mona Lisa offensive? I don't think it's if you say if it's like, for example, if I tweet, you know, I've been to the Louvre, I've seen the Mona Lisa, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a fan. You know, it's not great. That's fine. Using this particular wording is it's very clear what he's saying. He is totally objectifying a painting. So yeah. And again, zero professionalism. I'm not going to tweet at it. I'm sure Nigel will hear about it. I'm sure he'll probably say something nasty about me. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. But again, he's the vice president of FIDE. He really should. He really should know better. Yeah. All right. Okay. Enough of this stuff right now. I'm not running for FIDE president. I have no interest in that. But yeah. All right. Yeah. Back to Le Chess for the time being. I'm too sensitive. I definitely am not too sensitive. I do not I have plenty of issues with cancel culture. I have plenty of issues that I would say in general. I think things are taken over the top. Wording of certain things I think is taken over the top. So I'm probably the last person in the world to where you can use those certain words about me and be like, oh, you know, you're some liberal. You're all like, oh, you're all about, you know, this and that. Because I definitely don't prescribe to that at all. Yeah. All right. I mean, I would say in general, I'm offended. I'm offended by it because he's in a position of power. He's objectifying the looks. It's a female, obviously, and so I think it's just unacceptable. He's also vice president of FIDE. You know, it's like I would make some, you know, I'll give you guys an example. This is someone that I've had issues with him. Sometimes I've thought, like, you know, he does certain things that I don't like in terms of posts and so forth. But I'll give you an example. So Emil Satovsky is the director general of FIDE. And as I said, in the past, at certain times, there are things he said, there are certain things that I've been crazy about. But Emil, since he became the director general on FIDE, if he makes a post, he will always clarify it if it's a personal post instead of something in his role as director general at FIDE. And I have a lot of respect for Emil in the way that he approaches these things, because he does that. And for the most part, when I see his posts even in public, he separates it. So it's again one of those things where like with Emil, you know, I've gained a lot of respect for him because he understands the role that he's in now. He understands that position and sort of the power that he has. And so that's one example of someone who I think is doing things definitely the right way. So I've become a very big fan of Emil and the way that he handles these things. Whereas with Nigel, it feels like Nigel is just continuing along the same path he's continued along, you know, for the last 20 or 30 years.